When you think of ancient Egypt, what comes to mind? Towering pyramids, the silent gaze of the Sphinx, golden masks, and mummies wrapped for a journey into the afterlife. It's a civilization that seems completely obsessed with death and eternity, carved in stone and dedicated to the gods. But what if I told you that hidden on brittle scraps of ancient paper and broken pieces of pottery, we've found their secret diaries? Not diaries of kings or priests, but the passionate whispers of young men and women, sick with love, scheming for secret dates, and writing poetry that sounds like it could be a pop song from today. Welcome to 10-Minute History. I'm your host, Jake Sullivan, and today we're peeling back the stone facade of ancient Egypt to discover its beating heart, the surprisingly modern world of ancient Egyptian love poetry. Most of these amazing poems come from a period called the New Kingdom, around 3,000 years ago. This wasn't the Egypt of the pyramid builders. This was an age of empire, confidence, and incredible wealth, led by famous pharaohs like Ramesses II. Their empire stretched from modern-day Sudan all the way to the Euphrates River, and riches flowed into the capital city of Thebes. This wealth created a sophisticated and educated upper class of officials, priests, and especially scribes. In a society where maybe only 1 or 2% of the population could read and write, being a scribe was a huge deal. These were the people who ran the country, recording taxes, managing temples, and writing everything down. And in their spare time, they began to create literature for its own sake, for entertainment. Among their creations were these incredible love poems. Now, how did these fragile words survive for millennia? They were found in two main forms. First, on papyrus scrolls, the ancient world's version of high-quality paper. Finding love poems on expensive papyrus, sometimes right next to major religious texts, tells us this poetry was considered serious, valuable literature, worthy of being preserved. But even more exciting is where else they were found, on ostraca. Ostraca were the notepads of ancient Egypt, just cheap shards of broken pottery or flakes of limestone that people would scribble on. We've found love poems scribbled on these ostraca in the village of Deir el-Medina, which was home to the artisans who built the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. This is amazing, because it means this poetry wasn't just for the super elite. Literate workers were copying them down, maybe as practice, or maybe just because they liked a particular poem. It brings this poetry out of the library and into the streets. So let's dive into the poems themselves. One of the first things you'll notice reading them is that the lovers call each other my brother and my sister. And yes, that sounds incredibly weird to us. But before you get the wrong idea, this had nothing to do with incest. In the world of these poems, brother and sister were simply terms of endearment, like calling someone darling or honey or baby today. It signified an intimate, cherished relationship between equals. And speaking of equals, the female voice in these poems is incredibly strong and independent. The sister isn't some passive object of desire. She actively pursues her love, she makes plans to meet him, and she expresses her feelings with a frankness that feels remarkably modern. It's a powerful look into the emotional lives of women, a perspective that is often missing from Egypt's formal monuments. One of the most common themes in these poems is the idea of love as a literal, physical illness. The poets use medical language to describe how lovesickness completely takes over the body. The lover gets a fever, their heart beats wildly, they can't eat, and they feel too weak to do their daily chores. And there's only one cure, the sight of their beloved. There's a fantastic poem from a collection called the Papyrus Chester Beatty I that perfectly captures this. A young man says this: 7 days since I saw my sister, and a sickness has invaded me. I am heavy in all my limbs, my body has forsaken me. If the master physicians come to me, my heart will not be comforted by their remedies. To say to me, here she is what will revive me. My sister is more beneficial to me than any remedy, she is more to me than the entire book of remedies. When I see her, then I am well. I love this because he rejects both doctors and priests. No medicine or magic can help him. His beloved is his personal salvation. Her presence alone is the cure. This brings us to another central idea, the power of seeing. The gaze is everything. love often begins with a single glance. Separation is painful because you can no longer see the one you love. And as we just heard, seeing them again is the ultimate cure. One poem, spoken by a man, shows just how far he'd go for this privilege. He wishes he could become his beloved servant girl, just so he could follow her around and, as he puts it, see the color of all her limbs every single day. He would take on a role of low status for the supreme reward of simply being able to look at her. The poets also used the natural world of the Nile Valley as a powerful mirror for their emotions. The landscape wasn't just a background, it was a character in the love story. Gardens were private paradises where lovers could meet, surrounded by the sweet fragrance of lotus flowers and the taste of mandrakes, which were considered a powerful aphrodisiac, the love apples of ancient Egypt. Some poems even feature a talking sycamore tree, a tree sacred to the goddess of love, Hathor. The tree itself invites the lovers into its shade, promising to keep their secret tryst. The river Nile was also a key part of these stories. Often, it was a barrier that separated the lovers who lived on opposite banks. But this just made their passion even stronger. One of the most dramatic poems describes a young man determined to cross the river to see his beloved. He says, "The river is between us. A crocodile lies on the sandbank. But I go down into the water, I tread upon the flood. My heart is brave upon the waters. The water is like land to my feet. It is her love that makes me strong. She is a book of spells for me." This is just brilliant. His passion is so intense that it literally changes his reality. The dangerous, churning river feels like solid ground. And the terrifying crocodile, the apex predator of the Nile, in his mind, it's no threat at all. His love is a protective magic spell, making him feel invincible. But my favorite poems are the ones that feel like they could be scenes from a modern romantic comedy. The ancient Egyptians were clever schemers when it came to love. There's a fantastic poem where a young man comes up with the ultimate plan to arrange a date. He says, "I will lie down inside my house and I will feign to be ill. Then my neighbors will come in to see me, and my sister will come with them. She will make a mockery of the physicians, for she knows my sickness." It's such a clever plot. He's going to fake a deathly illness, knowing it will cause a big scene and the whole community will come to visit. His beloved will have to come along with the other women. And the final line is a perfect double meaning. She knows his sickness because she knows he's not really sick. She knows his only ailment is his love for her, and she is the only one who can provide the intimate cure. It's a funny, charming, and deeply romantic plan. The discovery of these poems didn't just give us great stories. It fundamentally changed our understanding of the ancient Egyptians. For centuries, we saw them through the lens of their tombs and funerary texts, which created an image of a grim culture obsessed with death. This poetry provides the perfect counter-narrative. It shows us a people who were deeply engaged with the joys and passions of mortal life. They celebrated beauty, nature, and the thrill of human connection. The emotions are so universal. The giddiness of a new crush, the pain of separation, the desire to be close to someone. These are feelings that collapse the 3,000 years between us. They stop being stoic figures on a temple wall and become living, breathing people. These poems are so rich with passion and garden imagery that many scholars have pointed out the striking similarities to a famous book in the Bible, the Song of Songs, also known as the Song of Solomon. Both traditions use similar terms of endearment, like my sister, my bride. Both are filled with imagery of gardens, flowers, and animals. And both celebrate sensual, passionate love. Since the Egyptian poems are several centuries older than the Song of Songs was likely written, and since we know Egypt had immense cultural influence over the region, many experts believe these poems directly or indirectly influenced the biblical text. While it's hard to prove for sure, the Egyptian love poems are, at the very least, a powerful testament that the celebration of romantic love was a vibrant literary tradition in the ancient world. So what's the main takeaway from all of this? These fragile papyri and pottery shards are one of Egypt's most precious gifts. They pull back the curtain on the formal stage of gods and pharaohs, and reveal a private world teeming with life, vulnerability, and passion. They shattered the myth of a dour, death-obsessed people and showed us their vibrant, life-affirming side. They give us a rare window into the lives of women who speak with agency and power. And most importantly, they are a profound testament to the timeless, universal nature of the human heart. The feelings of a young lover sick with longing over 3,000 years ago are instantly recognizable to us today. They prove that while empires fall and monuments crumble, the whisper of the human heart is one of history's most enduring legacies. So what are your thoughts on this? Does this change how you see the ancient Egyptians? Let us know down in the comments. If you found this interesting or learned something new, please give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to 10-Minute History for more deep dives. Thanks for listening.